And that purpose of pre-qualification is what we used to do by hand. Mm-hmm. It took a lot of time, and I don't know, we did it really well back then. But just because you have uploaded data and you've been pre-qualified doesn't mean you're safe.
Emphasis on pre-qualified.
The pre-qualified. And more, what hiring clients are looking for out of their qualification systems is, okay, these are pre-qualified to potentially be awarded work. Once we award them work, what's the training their employees have received? What is the functionality through the entire life cycle? What's their incident accident investigation, corrective action, permits for work, JSAs, all those type of things. Now,
are they doing what they say they're doing?
Are they doing what they say they're doing? And you know, one of the things that I've been involved with of late is extensive audits of contractors and subcontractors. And here's what we were finding. In the field, 95% of the contractors we were auditing, no training above the awareness level. That means they're getting OSHA 10, OSHA 30 type classes in the oil and gas industry, maybe getting safe land, and all those are good programs, but they're not training. So you would literally find people in confined spaces that had no confined space training. You would have people, you know, doing lockout tagout that had no lockout tagout training.
But they mentioned it in orientation.
That's why OSHA publication 2254 is your friend. But right. What does that create? Risk. Risk to the employees performing the work, and also risk to the hiring client. It's latent risk lying there, ready to be exposed within the supply chain itself, right? So I think the trend is going to be beyond pre-qualification to, are you doing what you say you're going to do? And that brings us back to the data that sometimes gets inputted into these systems related to hours worked, potential injuries and accidents you had. You know, we talked about
ESG.
ESG. The numbers you're reporting for ESG are going to come directly out of that. And so, you know, there'll be a lot more pressure on safety professionals to act with integrity. So I think the third-party verification systems play an important role, and I believe you'll start seeing them more technology emerging, and there's already some out there, to follow the life cycle of the contractor. And even beyond that now, another problem area we just touched on, the subcontractor of the contractor.
Right.
You know, it's just been my experience. If there are safety challenges at the contractor level, there's almost non-existent safety at all at the subcontractor level.
Totally agree. Agree. I was just going to say, you know, one of the things that I think is a misconception, right? And you mentioned this, pre-qualification, right? They're good to go. Okay. Pre-qualification is not subcontractor management. A master services agreement is not subcontractor management. No. A good solid contract of any type is not subcontractor management. Okay, now this may be just my opinion, okay? But subcontractor management is an active process, okay? And that's where the life cycle thing comes in, right? It's an active process. You pre-qualify. They upload a bunch of stuff. The little button goes green. You get an A+ or whatever it is, but there is so much more. That's like a tiny fraction, 5% of what you need to do to get to 100% looking at your risk profile and addressing your risk profile with that contractor.
And I think it's incumbent upon hiring clients to emphasize that. And as safety professionals, it's incumbent upon us that work within the supply chain with contractors to talk to our management team and let them understand, just because we are good to go from an MSA standpoint, or we've achieved a minimum acceptable score in a third-party verification system, does not mean my safety management system is compliant with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or that I have functioning elements of it that are addressing hazards and reducing risk within the supply chain. I've been doing this a long time.
Yep.
Okay. And it's not unusual to see a client that has a really good score in pre-qualification and a big fat F in execution.